Shalom, shalom, shalom. Oh, beautiful we, the people of America and the free world. Welcome once again to another live broadcast. This is your brother Ben Sedek, Ben Toro, coming to you live from beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida. And today I'm going to bring forth a very interesting topic. It's called Child Protective Services, which are tyrants. Okay? What is a tyrant? The layman term is a tyrant is any government or any person that enforces their will upon the people without due process of law. Okay? Who does not request or do not respect people's rights. Okay? That's what a tyrant is in layman's term. Now, the reason I'm doing this video is because over the years, I've seen a lot of people and sometimes good parents. When I say good parents, people who I know personally, some of them, they suffer at the hand of CPS, Child Protective So-Called Services, and also in some states they're called DCF, and they have different names, different alphabetical names, but they all do the same thing. What most of them do, they kidnap children and they literally sell them. Okay, they won't use the term that they sell them, but that's what they do. Okay, they sell them for money. It's a multi-billion-dollar business. They don't give one red cent about what really happens to the children, but it was just a cliche for them to use as a kind of excuse to kidnap decent people's children and enslave them into the system. Well, today we're going to have a little chat, and I'm going to show you all that this thing is corrupt to the core. Okay, it's very, very evil. A lot of people have suffered and are suffering. Some families are totally destroyed. People have committed suicide. It is horrible. As a matter of fact, years ago, when I was living in Hollywood, Florida, I got this flyer from, I think it was some kind of anonymous DCF supervisor. And he wrote and he said the conditions in which these children, when they were removed from their homes and kept, is appalling, it's disgusting. Sometimes they take them out of a situation from their homes and they put them into a situation that is like a million times worse. Okay, but they don't care, like I said, it's just to collect federal funding. Now, it's interesting to know that a lot of people, a lot of American people, do not know their basic rights. Okay, and this is why these tyrants take advantage of them because many people just don't know their rights. For example, I was talking to a lady once, a young lady, and she said they came to her door, the police, and they just said, "Can we come in?" And she just let them in. And when they came in, they were looking and they find all different kind of excuses. I said to her, "Yes, if you invite anyone into your house, they have a right to come in. But you don't have to let anyone inside of your house. This is protected under the Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution. It states clearly when it says um, the right of the people to be secure in their houses, papers, and effect against unreasonable searches shall not be violated. No warrant shall issue, but under oath or affirmation is that simple. Under oath or affirmation describing in particular the person, places are, that need to be searched and sealed. So it's a protection of the people's right so that their privacy is not being invaded. Now, the only time that the police could come in without a warrant is what they call an exigent circumstance, meaning it's an emergency. Like they look through the window and they see somebody have a knife at a child's throat. This is just one example. Or, anything where somebody is in immediate danger, they could come in with force. Yeah, that is accepted and that makes sense. But anything less than that, they have to have a warrant, and a warrant means somebody have to swear to a judge the reason why they want this warrant. They have to swear on it. I mean, if anything happened, they're held responsible. If they were telling lies, they'll be held responsible. And then the judge have to look over that warrant, look at the accusation, um, and if you see that there's really probable cause, meaning that, based upon law, then you'll sign that warrant and they could execute it. Now, many people don't know that, and many people don't even care. So once they see police or anybody show up at their door, they just think that they automatically have to open the door. I used to think that way too. And a lot of people have this attitude like, I don't have anything hiding. I don't have anything hiding. No, that's not the point. The point is you have a right to be secure. You have a right to privacy. It's an unalienable right. You have the right for government to not intrude into your private family, into your private family affair. That's a natural right. Okay? And like I said, they realize most people are ignorant of their rights, so they take advantage. I've heard of a situation, for example, where the cops came to this person's door, and this person was like, "Oh, I don't have anything hiding," so they opened the door. When they came in, some relative or somebody who was there left some weed on the table, and they saw it, and the person was in trouble. No, if they had not let that person in, that wouldn't happen in the first place. You understand? So people have to know their rights. Now back to the children. Um, the child protective services, number one, they do not function when they take the children to courts. Most of the time, it's not really an Article 3 court. What is an Article 3 court? Is a common law court, meaning a natural right court where all of our rights are protected. This is found in Article 3 of the United States Constitution. In a common law court, rights are supposedly protected. You have a right to a trial by jury, whether it's a civil case over $20 as mandated by the Seventh Amendment, or if it's a criminal proceeding, a person have the right to have a trial by jury. If you notice in these CPS cases, when they take away the children from their families, there's no trial by jury. Years ago, I followed somebody to one of these kangaroo courts. And what is a kangaroo court? Look it up on the internet or in the Black's Law or any law dictionary. It's just a court that the outcome is already predetermined. Right, all rights are ignored. Okay, and justice is denied. That's a kangaroo court. And when I went there, I remember this person have a trial, and this was an innocent person, by the way. And during the trial, there was a lawyer who was supposed to represent the person. This lawyer was outside, so I went up to the lawyer and I said, "Why don't you try to get this person a trial by jury?" The reason why the framers put a trial by jury so that people's rights are not being overtaken by a tyrant. You know, one person doesn't decide your whole entire future. So they set it up where the people can be judged by their own American people, you know. And even the Magna Carta that the United States came from, that was signed into law by King John on June 15 of 1215 of AD, number 30 or 39 talks about trial of a jury of your peers. What is your peers? Your peers is anybody who knows your character. In other words, they know if you're a bad person, a decent person, or whatever. And that's how it was supposed to be. But these tyrants, they don't even give you a trial by jury in these child protective kangaroo courts. Why? Because the outcome is already predetermined. Okay? It's all for federal funding. Okay? Each child that they take, and I have all the codes and the statute, each child that they take, and the Fed match them thousands of dollars. If the child has some type of disability, they get more. Okay? So it's all a multi-billion dollars business. At the end, who suffer? The parent suffers, and a lot of time the children suffer. Why? Because sometimes they'll take the child out of a home for something minor, something minuscule, and put them into a dangerous situation. Sometimes children go missing under DCF, nowhere to be found. Sometimes they come out abused, being abused in the system. I mean, this is a known fact. Everybody knows this. So this system is not set up to really help families. Maybe some have good intent, but the majority of them, they do not do that. It's to destroy your families. So you have to be extremely careful who you let into your homes, and stand up on your right. Let them follow due process. Due process means if they have a suspicion that a crime has been committed, let them go to the judge or the court, swear on the oath that whatever they're alleging is true to the best of their knowledge, and let them get that warrant, and then they come. That's the lawful way to do it. Sometimes I've seen children being removed for petty stuff like parents arguing and children are being moved. Well, guess what? I've read many courts where the courts said that you can't, they're not supposed to move a child just because the parents are arguing, domestic argument. Those are not grounds to move children. The only way they're supposed to do it if the child is in immediate danger, okay? And it's not supposed to be done for no money. The old CPS is a fraud. No trial by jury, and it's not even a court. What it is, CPS operates under what is known as Title B and Title E of the Social Security Act. Okay, this provision of the Act is under 42 U.S.C. The Social Security Act. It is non-positive. Non-positive means one have to consent into it. Okay, it is administrative. It is not judiciary. Judiciary and administrative cannot mix. Okay, that's why the framers have three separate and independent form of government: legislative, which is the lawmakers; administrative or executive, that's the police power, the enforcement body; and then we have the judiciary, which is the courts. They all work separate, but equally, and that's why we have government. For example, the legislative body, they are the lawmaker, Congress. They also have, Congress, the Senate. They make laws, all right. Then the judiciary branch is supposed to kind of look at these laws that the legislative branch make to make sure they are within the confines of the Constitution. If they are outside of the confines of the Constitution, the judiciary branch is supposed to deny it. Okay. Then, if it's lawful and if it's constitutional, then the executive branch is the one who enforces it. In other words, without the legislative branch, there will be nothing for the judiciary branch to rule on. And if the judiciary branch rule, then who have to enforce it? The administrative branch. So they are all separate, equal, and all of them are necessary. Okay. So what happened under these child support kangaroo hearings? I don't even call them courts because they are not courts. What they do, it's under 42 U.S.C., the Social Security Act. They're all contractors. Okay. A magistrate sitting there mimicking a judge, working under the capacity of believe it or not, as a contractor, okay? Because they are contracted under certain codes, and when the money comes to the government, it goes to the state treasury, the hearing officer, the judge, the prosecutor, the state attorney, everybody get a cut out of it because they get paid from the state treasury, okay? And that federal money goes to the state treasury. It's all executive, it's all administrative. It is not a real court. If it was a real court, you will have a trial by jury, and mostly a jury of your peers, meaning people who knows your character, to say, you know what, I know this person is not like this. Let me judge them based upon, the circumstances, because I know who they are. Who best to understand you and make a decision than somebody who knows you? But they deny all this. They deny the trial by jury. Notice I said trial by jury and not jury trial. They are two different things. A lot of people don't know it. It's not just semantic. What is a trial by jury is this. The judge tells the jury what to believe, and in other words, they control the jury. Okay, that is a jury trial, and oftentimes the jury tend to go by what the judge say, and sometimes the judge is not even saying the right thing, the right law. A trial by jury is constitutional. In a trial by jury, the jury, which is we the people, we become what? The judge and the decider of the facts and the decider of the law. That's a trial by jury. And the framers of the Constitution put this in place. Why? To kind of repulse a tyrannical government that forces its will upon the people and who is forced to respect the people's due process rights. Okay? A trial by jury is very important because the jury is one of the defense mechanism for the people. Meaning, if the judge is biased, if the state is biased, whatever, the jury is supposed to come in and render justice. So if the person is guilty, the jury is supposed to, based upon the facts and the law, the real law, the Constitution, the common law, they're supposed to punish the person if they're really wrong. If the person is innocent, then the jury is to do likewise. They're supposed to acquit the person and send them home. So that's the purpose of a trial by jury. CPS does not allow this. Why? Because if they allow this, it will interfere with their cash cow. Think about that. It will interfere with their cash cow because a lot of things that they do are unconstitutional. And then the people who are informed, the ones who are informed, they will stop it right in the track. So guess what? They eliminate, they eliminate the trial by jury, and then an hearing officer, masquerading as a judge, make the decision. And this person who is sitting there making a decision in that black robe, oftentimes, is a contractor. That person contract with the same agency that is trying to steal the children. Okay, so a lot of time that parent doesn't have a chance. Our parents does not have a chance. It's all corrupt, and so we the people, each and every one of us, we have the ability to stop this. Okay, when we see this happen to our fellow men, we can't just say, well, that happens to you, that's your business. No, it's all of our businesses. You know, we have the ability to stop it and bring forth, shed forth light, because we're all about justice. What is justice? Justice came from the Hebrew word tzedek, an Aramaic tzedek, which means correction, right ruling, to make whole. Okay, and that's what justice is. If we cannot make somebody whole or repair, then it's not justice. Okay, do your research and you'll see that CPS is very dangerous. The very foundation of a civilization is the family structure. And if the family structure is being attacked, then the civilization is being attacked. If the family structure is destroyed, that civilization is destroyed. These beings, believe it or not, they do not have the best interest of the children, as they say. You might find one or two people in it who have good intention, but the majority in the system, it is set up to as a cash cow, to use the children as a bait to make a lot of money. You know, and it's disgusting. You know, I'm tired of seeing innocent people. Some of these people, I know them personally. I know their character. They are decent people. Let me give you an example. I know this young lady years ago. She had some children. One day she wake up and the child head was swollen, right? And she took the child to the hospital. Never had a clue what happened. So when she went there, they were questioning her like, what happened? The poor mom didn't know. She said, I don't know, because of her. She doesn't know. Next thing, DCF came and everybody started to investigate. Long story short, and they did some X-ray. They said they saw some fracture of the skull, and then they saw other parts of the body internally, which is starting to be healed. So right away, they arrested the mom and charged her for child abuse, child neglect, all that kind of stuff. And I know that mom is not like that; she didn't do that. But the problem is she couldn't explain it, so that was easy for them to hold on to these children. Long story short, um, some bone specialists got involved, and when the bone specialists got involved, they used science, all that kind of stuff, and investigation. And when they found out what happened to the baby. The baby had what is known as, it's very common, and a lot of parents don't know. The baby had what is known as metabolic disease, or bone disease, where the bones were fracturing by themselves. Meaning, even if you take up the baby and you don't hold the baby, if you hold the baby a certain way, the bones will fracture. So they saw that, and the doctors, these scientific doctors, specialists, bone specialists, they realized that because they have dealt with it several times, and they testify in this young lady's trial that it's bone disease, and they see it many times. And many parents are in prison right now because they didn't have the ability to find out about the bone disease and they couldn't explain it. And the poor people are in prison for something that they did not do, because the overzealous child protective servant, they didn't care a darn. They want that cash cow money coming in. So in prison, people destroy their family, doesn't mean anything to them as long as they're doing their quote unquote job. You know, so it is sad, and there's a lot of people I know that they wake up or whatever, and the children have this fracture and they can't explain it, because look, these doctors, they have to take x-ray to see what happened. How can a mother or father without x-ray know what's going on inside of their child? It's impossible. These experts, that's what they use to determine that there was a fracture inside, you know. But because the mom or the dad cannot explain it, they arrest them for child abuse, right? And like I said, this is very important. There's many and many more of these cases being highlighted now, since this case and this lady went through and others, that a lot of these children have bone disease. In other words, they're low on vitamin D. Sometimes this is through family genetic and so on and so forth. But the poor parents, they don't know the medical term, they don't know the science behind it. They just wake up and see these things that, man, a lot of them in jail, a lot of them suffer, a lot of them lose their entire family because of that. And this is how evil these tyrants are. Okay? If they find this thing happen to one child, sometimes there'll be five child in the house. This happened to one child and five children in the house. They'll remove all five children, even though the other four is healthy. They'll remove all five, and then this person lose all five children. Sometimes they might get them back, they might not. They lose all these five children. Sometimes all because of a bone disease. Okay? There's no trial by jury. If there was a trial by jury, then maybe somebody in the jury might say, oh, you know what, I've heard of situation like this. Let us look into this some more, etc., etc. But the tyrannical hearing officer or judge that sit there already make a predetermination based upon the contract and the biasness. And then 99% of the time, they rule in favor of the agency. They have to because they're contracted with them. You understand what I'm saying? So this is horrible, and there's nothing more precious to a person than their children. Nothing more precious than their children. Some of these people were doing this to other people. Okay? If this had happened to them, they would not have liked it. That's why the scripture said, do not do to others what you will not like them do unto you. They wouldn't like this done to them. But they don't care because it's not them. They'll do it to other people and don't give a darn. That is wrong. That is evil. And like I said, this video I'm making is for people to, at least, if it doesn't happen to you, at least when they hear somebody that's going through similarity where something happened to their children and they don't know, let them get an expert and do some scan, or they know to evaluate to find out if it's a bone disease. It's very, very helpful because it's happening more and more often nowadays. And I hate injustice. I hate to see innocent people being punished while the guilty people go free. That is not justice. Okay? And like I said, we will continue to expose as we go along this evil, demonic, um, satanic organization that is destroying families. Okay? All for what the scripture say? For the love of money is the root of all evil. Nothing is wrong with money, but it's the love of it. When people love money so much, they'll sell their soul, they'll murder their fellow man, they'll destroy whatever they need just to get that money. Yes, I had a call coming through, so it kind of paused my video. Yeah, so I'm back. Yeah, so we as a people, we have to make sure that we're on top of this, be our brother's keeper, and like I said, there was a saying in Nazi Germany years ago, when the Nazis came for um, the Jehovah Witness. A lot of people didn't do anything because they said, "I'm not a Jehovah Witness." Then when they came for the Mormon, a lot of people say, "I'm not a Mormon. I do not care." When they came for the so-called African American, a lot of people say, "I'm not African American. I don't care." When they came for the Jews, a lot of people say, "I'm not Jewish. I don't care." And finally, when they come for the person who said they did not care, there was nobody else to stand up for them. Okay, so we have to be our brother's keeper. Today for me, tomorrow for you. There's a saying that said the same stick that beats the black cow is the same stick that will beat the white cow in the evening. So we have to be prepared. We have to know what's going on around us. We have to be on top of things. And most of all, we have to know our rights. And not only are we supposed to know our rights, but we are supposed to share it with our fellow men. It's appalling to me sometimes when I see basic rights. People don't know, and people sometimes don't even care because people are so busy trying to survive. They don't even have time to and try to find out what their right is, you know. A lot of time people using the word, oh, that's my right, that's my right. Most people doesn't even know what the word right means. You know, when they say this is my right, this is my right. People don't know what it means. So we have to study and rightly divide the word of truth of the Most High and help one another. Like I said, anybody out there, I am a researcher. I do not give legal advice. What I do, however, I'm a researcher, meaning I research these things and I gather information and I put them together. And if you need help, you reach out to me, and that's what I do. I could provide you with the information or your loved one how to help yourselves. Okay, that's what I do. I'm a researcher. The Father blessed me with that gift. I know the system inside out, you know, and you have to know what they're doing to be able to fight back and defend yourself. Like there's a saying long time that goes, if you're going to war with an enemy, you have to study that enemy to be able to have a better chance of defeating them. If you're going to a war blindly and do not study your enemy, more than likely you're going to lose. Okay, you have to study your enemy because your enemy is studying you. So you have to study your enemy and find out his strength and his weakness. And that's what we do. We do our research. We find out these devils. We find out what they do, what their strengths are, and what their weaknesses are. One last thing. Some states also warrants can only be served, like in Florida, it can only be served by the sheriff department, okay, not the police. As a matter of fact, I think it was 82 or 83, the then Attorney General of Florida had an opinion when was addressed by the higher layer police department, asking the same question about who could effectuate a warrant. And based upon the law, the Attorney General let them know that only the sheriff, only the sheriff could serve a warrant. Only the sheriff could serve a warrant. And the sheriff cannot pass this off to the police department. Why? The sheriff is different from the police department. A lot of people don't know. The sheriff is a constitutional elected office, meaning they're chosen by we the people. Police department, the people do not choose them. They're either appointed by a mayor or commissioner or stuff like that. But the sheriff, if you notice, they have election and people choose who they want. So the sheriff is the highest law enforcement in the county, okay, and they are the ones who are supposed to issue warrants. Okay, like when they come to your home to serve warrant, it's supposed to be the sheriff. That's how they set it up in the law. So we people have to be aware. We have to know these things. We have to educate each other, share the information we have with each other, and so we can make good, effective decisions to help each other. You understand? Everything in this country, um, they are supposed to be under the protection or the guidance of the United States Constitution. It was 1803 in a case known as Marbury versus Madison, where the Supreme Court states that an unconstitutional action is null and void. Null and void meaning any action that contradict the Constitution doesn't exist. It's like it doesn't exist. It's a nullity. It's not voidable. It's not something that you can void. That is voidable. It's already void. It's like it didn't exist. It's a blank, a nullity. Okay. Also, the supremacy clause. If you don't learn one thing here today, you learn this. The supremacy clause under Article 6 of the Constitution. I'm just paraphrasing. This Constitution and the last pursuant shall be the supreme law of the land. The word supreme means highest. Okay, it's the highest law of the land. Every judge in every state, talking about those also those of the legislative, executive, and the judiciary branch, they are bound by oath thereof. In other words, any form of the government one is working in every state, they must follow the supremacy of the Constitution. And then he went further to say, anything contrary, notwithstanding. The word contrary means contradict or against. Notwithstanding means no standing. What is standing? Standing is a term that have to be used when a party have they have a standing in court, meaning they have a leg, they have a foot to stand on, they have a case, they have authority in a case. So if they do not have any standing, means they don't have any authority to do the case or be involved in the case. So what they're saying in the Sixth Amendment, anything that contradict the Constitution, contradict, have no standing. Okay? So no matter what they pass, if it doesn't, if it contradicts the Constitution, it's null and void. It's that simple. Okay? Very, very simple. No matter what they tell you, if it contradicts the Constitution, no matter how sweet they'll make it sound and how fancy, it is null and void. It is of no effect. Okay? So anyway, I'm gonna close out this video. Anybody need help? Well, like I said, we're a researcher. Can hit us as Ben Sedek Bentora. I'm gonna leave my email at the bottom so anybody can contact us. Like I said, we are researchers and we help people get back their family when they are stolen because this is demanded. So until then, Shalom Aleichem, peace be unto you, and have a blessed day. And remember, share with your fellow man. Shalom.